have been blessed to see many different countries. And what I used to love to do entering into these countries is to learn about their traditions, learn about their cultures. And living in Japan, it was based off of respect. The police officers didn't even carry guns. If it was a fight or something like that, they can just come blow the whistle. Everything would stop. They would disperse. They bow. That everything was based off respect. I remember going to Djibouti, Africa, and going there, I was talking to one of the locals and we were discussing, and he was telling me that when they're born, the father indicates what you're going to be. So the father might say, you're going to be an engineer. You had no choice in the matter. That's just what you were going to do. And then he would tell me that their version of having a dream was after you have retired. Once you retired, then you can dream big. So I used to just love to learn about all of these different cultures, but it never failed that when we go somewhere, they would give you what is called a port brief, and they would tell you everything that you can't do in these countries. Singapore, you couldn't chew gum. You couldn't just spit on the sidewalk. Very clean country. And all of these places that we would go, people would test the line. I mean, it never failed. And then people would be in trouble. And the thing was, people would be like, well, what's wrong with that? Sometimes you see on the news, somebody went to one of the places that weed is illegal and they would be carrying weed, and then they get stopped and then they get put in jail. And then people say, oh man, that's messed up. Weed is legal. No, that's legal here, not there. And there's a message in all of this. And I'm saying that all because they had a culture. Now in America, and I love America because I fought for this country, whatever, we have lost our culture. And I don't even mean as a whole. I'm just talking about in families. I remember growing up in the church. If you came and you had on blue jeans, people would look at you crazy. They'd be like, why he got on blue jeans? This is Sunday. And what started happening is people took the Bible verse and they said, oh, Jesus said, come as you are. But they misconstrued that. You see, coming as you are was based upon sick, you know what I'm saying? This, that, and the other, right? But we adapted that. And then church started to look like a club. People was just coming in, wearing this, that, and the other. But I'm going to get into my point. But the things that come as you are statement would be, hey, I'm just showing up as I am. This and that. Here's the thing. If you're going out to a club and the club says no do-rags, no hats, no jeans, you got to have slacks, this, that, you don't have a problem in adhering to the dress code. You don't have a problem because you want to get in. And the church used to have a culture that, you know what I'm saying? That was, now, I'm not saying the stuff that's like got so far out there, but what I'm saying is it was based in a culture. Families. I thank God that my grandparents raised me because there was a culture. Now, you take certain things and you develop them better. You do certain things different, but there was a culture. My grandfather was not my friend when I was growing up. He loved me to the end, but I couldn't call him a friend because there was a dividing line. It was a dividing line because you treat your friends different. So there was a respect thing. So much so that even when I got grown, it was just certain things that I didn't do in the house. There was certain conversations that I just wouldn't have because there was a dividing line and there was respect. We fast forward to nowadays, I be hearing these kids talk to their parents like that like they're a peer. 15 years old, the parents say something, they like, I don't feel like doing this, that, and other. And then the parents say, well, I want them to be able to express themselves. Then 2 years later, they out here on a shooting spree because there's no structure. There's no defining line. Another thing that I want to say, I remember when I was about to get out the military and I was interning while I was in the military. See, I was proactive. And on Fridays, they had wear what you want to wear on Fridays. And there was this older gentleman that I used to talk to all the time. And so my first week interning, on that Friday, I came in with my jeans on. I came in whatever, because it's come as you are. And I remember he was still dressed business casual. So I came up to him, I said, hey, what's up, man? Why you ain't dressed? You know what I'm saying? You ain't had to dress like that. And he said, who said that? And I said, oh, they said it's this, that, and other. He said, they said. And I never forget that stuck with me. That stuck with me because he had his own personal culture. Didn't matter what was going on around him. He stuck to what he knew. Dr. Bryant thing, or I don't know if she's a doctor or not, whatever the case may be, got the social media streets in a frenzy because of what she was pretending to be. And people said, oh man, that's wrong, this, that, and that. But it's a lot of Dr. Bryant's that was calling her wrong. It's a lot of people pretending to be something that they're not. But it's easy to highlight when it's on Front Street, but it's a lot of people pretending to be what they're not. And I'm saying all of that to say you gotta have a culture. What that culture is, you defined it. You see, for me, I don't like to tell my kids to do something that I know that I can't do. I don't want to tell my kids to, this is how you have to handle a certain situation if it's something that I won't do. A lot of times as a parent, your kids make you the most mad when you see you in them. You see, you can't complain that one of your kids won't talk to you, but they don't see you talking to their mom or their father. You can't have a son that goes out into the world and he's treating women crazy or he's letting women dog him out because that's what he sees in his home. So a lot of times when you see something that's going on in the child, instead of you creating the environment, creating your own culture, you try to beat it out of them. But you're just trying to beat you out of them. That's why it's important to have a culture. Remember all of the trends that was going on social media, the ice bucket challenge and the walking the crates and this, that, and the other. Listen, there was so many people that didn't even know what it was about. They just jump on trends, and it's such a distraction. People was getting hurt, but nobody knows why they're doing it. They just see everybody else doing it. You have to be your own person. There's so many people out there that they code switch so much. When they with this group, they act like this. When they with this person, they act like this. To some people, you're the strongest in the world. To other people, you don't know how to communicate. That you're so many different things that you don't really know who you are. You're like an amoeba. Whatever the crowd is going, that's where you go. If you at work and this section of people are mad at such and such and such and such, and guess what? Now you mad. If this group over here is happy, then you associated with them, now you happy. We don't know who we are anymore because there's no culture. Culture to a lot of people looks like restraint. So you go to these other countries and we talk about them. You fly in there and you just like, why is everybody doing this? My gosh, like I can't stand it here. They're not going to assimilate to you because they have a culture. And that's my message today. We worried about what the Democrats is doing, the Republicans is doing, and meanwhile, there's a civil war going on in your home. You have to control what you can control. We watch the stuff that happened on the news, and don't get me wrong, it's some messed up stuff going on in the world, but it's some messed up stuff going on in your world that you can control, that you just overlook. See, I'm a firm believer in controlling my atmosphere. And one of the biggest things that I'm working on personally is I can't allow what you do to affect me. If you come into my space and you got an attitude, I'm learning, and I'm telling you, it's a learning process not to allow your attitude to affect me. You messed up with some stuff, and now I'm letting that stuff rub off on you. Now I'm mad. I don't even know why I'm mad. I'm just mad because you mad. Create a culture. And it's never too late. You could be 20 plus. Define something. Now I'm gonna get out your space. My son, he graduates this year, so he only goes to school half the day because he has all his credits or whatever. And yesterday they were doing the state test. He's already passed everything. So if he went to school, he was only gonna be there for an hour. But I've created such a culture that he came to me and he said, "Can I stay home? Because if I go, I'm only gonna be there for an hour, and there's no buses, so I'm gonna have to catch an Uber home." Because the culture that I created is we not gonna miss no school because that was the culture that I came from. I had perfect, man, up until, I started getting in trouble and stuff, but I had perfect attendance. I would be sick. And my grandfather would tell me, don't you let that school call me and tell me to come get you because you sick. That was just the culture. So I didn't miss no school. So I brought that onto my house, right? Because that's my culture. And don't allow the world or anybody outside to define your culture. I can't stand when I see these kids talking to their parents like they're on the same level. Once you grown, then you grown. But even when you grown, there still has to be a line of respect. I know this wasn't that deep, but it was just something that was on my mind. Y'all have a blessed day.